Support for Another Round comes from Squarespace. Get your unique domain and create a beautiful website today at squarespace.com. Enter offer code Another Round at checkout to get 10% off. Make your next move with Squarespace. Put fit first with Third Love. Third Love offers bras in sizes AA through G, as well as their exclusive half-cup sizes. It just takes 30 seconds to answer a few questions to find the perfect fitting bra for you. Go to thirdlove.com/anotherround to try Third Love free for 30 days. That's thirdlove.com/anotherround. Hey, y'all. What's up?
How you doing?
We have a secret.
What's the secret?
It's not really a secret. We've been talking about it for a while. We going to Chicago.
Hey.
It's going to be great. It's going to be June 21st, 8 o'clock p.m. at Thalia Hall. We are going to sit down and talk to sociologist extraordinaire Eve Ewing.
Yes.
We're going to hang out, chit-chat with the one and only Jamila Woods.
Yes.
Voice of an angel. Can't wait to hang
yes.
out with her. And then we're going to have some fun with hip-hop youth crew Kuumba Links, who's going to dance and celebrate and turn up. And we will clap our hands while they do the actual dancing.
Exactly.
Because neither of us should be doing
Let
that.
the professionals handle this. Yo, shout out to Chicago. Y'all got some dope peoples.
And y'all also have a great zoo.
Also that.
I really like.
We'll explore that later.
Yeah, after the show, let's all go to the zoo. But first, you got to come to the show. For tickets and information, go to wbez.org/events. Come and see us.
Bring your person.
Yeah.
Bring us pizza.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Heben.
I'm Tracy.
Welcome to Another Round with Heben and Tracy.
Yay!
Womp, womp, womp.
Oh.
Womp.
Oh. First, it was kind of suspenseful, and I was like, are we in a detective drama right now?
I don't know, Tracy. I don't know.
Hey, me either. How are you?
Oh, I'm dead.
Well, your lipstick looks great.
Oh, my God. Thank you. It is
You're
to
the
mask
prettiest
how
corpse
dead I
I've
look.
ever seen.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Oh, my God. That is the highest compliment. Corpse looks, serving.
Corpse flow.
How you doing, Tracy?
I'm good. Wait, remember when everything was a flow on Instagram?
Yes, gym
flow, church flow, gotta be at work in 10 minutes flow.
Funeral
Like, what are you doing? Oppression flow.
Shout out to Instagram.
Shout out to Instagram.
Man, we have such a great show today.
We do. We're gonna be talking about one of my favorite things in the world.
What's that?
Food.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
I'm hype.
You know how you just be eating food? You be like, bruh. What?
Yes.
Remember 2 minutes ago when I wasn't eating food and what a bad decision that was?
You know, I know exactly what you're talking about, though.
See? He was like, why did I do this earlier?
So shout out to food.
Shout out to food. And to help us talk about food, we're going to be chit-chatting with the one and only Marcus Samuelsson. Heben, where might one know Marcus Samuelsson from?
So he has a famous restaurant called Red Rooster, which is located in Harlem.
Yes. I have been exactly once, and that was with you.
Yes, it was so much fun.
Was it also your first time there, too?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
There's always a line. Who's trying to go over the line? Come on.
I had a lot of fun at Red Rooster. I didn't know what to expect.
I didn't either.
We were there for the gospel brunch.
Which I didn't even know was a thing. We were just there on Sunday. And it makes sense.
I assumed it was going to be like brunch with like gospel playing in the background while you eat. It was a whole ass concert.
Yes, it was so beautiful.
There was just like a bunch of teens singing like Negro spirituals and like Broadway, New York staples, and they were just jumping in a hooting and a hollering, and I got to hoot and hollering. It was great. I really liked it. So he's the man behind Red Rooster.
Also on Top Chef, season 2.
Which he won, right? And he's all over the place. He just released a cookbook. If you need to make the macaroni and cheese at Red Rooster, he's like, here it's not going to be as good as mine, but you can try.
Here's a little recipe, try.
A little something. So we had a great time. After we had this great time, we invited Marcus Samuelsson into the studio. Ended up making some drinks.
Yeah.
We made a drink called the Yes Chef. It was intense and hectic.
Oh my God, I could never work in a chef area situation.
It was just
a chef
so
area
much,
situation.
We weren't even in a
restaurant.
kitchen. That's what that thing is
kitchen,
called.
you know?
Right. And we weren't even in the kitchen. We were in like a little.
I know, just a little
like
video
a little
room.
Closet turned into a video room.
Right.
And it was like, I can't do this. I'm like, cut out.
Yeah, chef. Okay. Yeah. Sure, I'll throw those in.
But the ice where's the ice go?
I was stressed.
It was stressful, but we had a lot of fun making the drinks. We had a lot of fun having this conversation, and we can't wait to share it with you. But before we get into the interview, I would like to tell you, Heben, a story.
Ooh.
How about a little what happened was?
Ooh. I'm in.
I don't even know why I was thinking about this in the shower.
Okay.
So this is a story about militant baby Tracy and all of her angst. And I was really annoying back then, but sometimes I came through. I came through this particular time, right? Okay. So
That's so real. It's a mixed bag when you hear stories.
you know,
What did I say? How did I say it? All right. Go me.
right. Good job, me. Good job. Okay, so what happened was I went to a super white school, small, private, liberal arts in Lexington, Kentucky, which is the worst place on earth. No shade to anybody who lives there. Can't remember how many black people were in the freshman class, but overall, I think there are about 20 black people on the whole campus, and that's out of 1,100 students. So it's small, which unfortunately means that the number of black people was even smaller.
Sure.
So this became really difficult during the month of February, known also as Black History Month, right?
My busiest month. I'm familiar.
The busiest month of every black person
In media.
in media, in a black space, at a
In
job where
life.
there are no other black people yet. Like, basically, it's up to you. The administration was like, gee, it would be nice if somebody would do the Black History Month program. Yeah. And so finally, the blacks are like, all right, fine. It's obvious that if we want some sort of celebration, we're going to have to do it like ourselves, like for Black History Month. So I get to thinking, I think this was my either this would have been sophomore year, I think, sophomore or junior. Because I could still fit my prom dress. This will enter into the story later.
Oh, no, wait.
Girl. So I think it was sophomore
Where does the
year.
prom dress figure? What? Okay.
Dun, dun, dun. So, the person who had typically done all of our programs had graduated. And so at the
The one
time, the other one, like, hey, Bianca, hey, girl, thinking of you. Shout out to you. And I was like the second, like, writery, poet-esque type person. So I was like, all right, you know, like, I'll put a little something together. I'll do a little something. And so I wanted to do something that was, like, visual, but also, like, really informative. So I was like, let's have a fashion show, right?
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay.
Let's do a historical fashion show where we'll go through the different like eras and talk about how like black resistance and like social change and justice often like was manifested or affected by the way that black people dressed, carried themselves. You know, you had expressions of black power and resistance in the 70s with the afros and dressing in black and like in the 50s, you know, like when MLK and them were marching, you know, they were in like their Sunday best like
Christmas
suits.
suits.
Yeah, you know, to show that they were like human and like worthy of being respected and not
Being assassinated.
spat on. Yeah, exactly. Not being assassinated. So I really wanted someone to sing Strange Fruit by Billie Holiday, right?
Okay.
Because I was like, I'm going to give you this work. We are
Yes,
going to sit
that's
and listen
heavy.
to a
That's-
song. Yeah.
Okay.
About lynching. Like I told you I was kind of terrible. So I was going in, right? But the problem was we had 20 black people on campus.
Could any of them sing?
Like
Sing Strange
two-
Fruit of all things.
Like two of them could. But beyond that, like I'm sure we had more than 20 people in the show. So first I tried to outsource some black
Oh,
people.
no.
When that didn't work, I was like, okay, I'll do this part myself. So I put on my prom dress, put some fake gardenias in my hair, and I sang Strange Fruit in front of my school.
What?
It was crazy. I
Oh
was
my
terrified.
God.
I can only carry like half a tuna in a bucket, so it wasn't
Yeah,
like,
you
you
can't
know.
even sing all crazy.
Right?
Like, how'd you do
This
that?
is important. This is how desperate the situation was, right? Like I had just like no black people at my disposal. Like if I would ever get up, put myself, like
And
I
sing
wrote the shit.
Strange
Right. Them notes. What was I doing? Trying to serve my damn community. So once I had outsourced myself, I then had to outsource other black people, right? So I'm like contacting friends. So there were times where I was able to like make logical, constructive switches. You know, I didn't have a Billie Holiday. All right, fine. Nobody's ever going to see this anyway. Probably nobody will ever even like show up on campus. I'll do it. Fine. But for like the actual modeling parts, like I just couldn't scrape together enough people to like actually be the models. And I was like, we don't have time to like send people to change and like all this other stuff. Also, I was like, I'm not getting paid. We're not doing all this. So I decided.
Oh, no.
It's one of the greatest moments of my life, I think. I decided that if I didn't organically have the resources that I needed for my production, for my magnum opus at Transpan University, I was just going to use what I had. And what I had was a bunch of white kids. And I had a bunch of white kids because my university didn't care enough to recruit people of color. So I was like, if things get a little awkward and uncomfortable,
That's on you.
that's on y'all. That's on y'all.
I did my best.
So fashion show's going on. Everything's going well. So it comes time to talk about the 70s, right? And the 70s was Black Power and afros and all that jazz. You already know the deal. You know the story. So my models for this segment were two little white girls, right?
Sure. That's what we had.
It was very important to me that Black Power be like the overarching theme of the 70s, right? And I really wanted an afro. I wanted cornrows. So I'm like, I guess we got to get wigs, y'all.
You made the white girls put on wigs?
One of the white girls had a huge black afro wig.
Yo!
The other one had one of the worst, like, braided, beaded blonde wig situations ever. It looked really bad.
Like, I just came back from Jamaica.
Yes. Entire head covered in, like, Jamaica. Just, like, awful. But I was like, hey, that's all I got to work with. What do you want me to do? If you want better quality, get some black people here. But I didn't need to do this part, but I was like, fuck it. And so I wrote into the script, the line was something like, blah, blah, blah. This era in American history was all about black people reserving the right to say it loud. And then I had them put their fists in the air and yell, I'm black and I'm proud.
Tracy, why you setting up all these white folks?
Because fuck, what else am I gonna do? I'm trying to educate my folks, my culture. I don't even have black people. So I was like, not only am I gonna have white people in these terrible wigs, I'm gonna like
say the worst.
Yeah. I want you to like be uncomfortable underneath the fact that these are not black people screaming, I'm black and I'm proud on camera. You know, like there's a message in here and I hope you got it. And I think they did because I did hear some people laugh. I heard one person cackle. I was like, yeah.
That was me traveling back in time. Like, what Tracy got these white folks doing? You black or you what?
You who now? Who in a what? But I think it was one of my favorite, like,
oh my God,
tiny modes of like resistance and revolution, right?
Oh my God.
Because it was so frustrating being in that space and having to like create something that like represents me and my culture, and I don't even have the tools to do it. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta make a statement. Sometimes that statement is, you're ridiculous. This is happening because
this is all we got.
Yeah, what I'm supposed to do.
Wow.
Yeah. Support for Another Round comes from Squarespace. With Squarespace, you get a unique domain experience that's simple to set up and an all-in-one platform to help you create a beautiful website. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings me to a new game of Would You Rather Internet Edition, where, once again, we have brought in Tyler Sorensen from BuzzFeed's creative department to ask me one tough Would You Rather question that is internet-themed.
That's right. Hey, Tracy.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. Would you rather your internet browser have 50 tabs permanently open or no tabs at all? You just have one window.
Oh, 50 tabs for sure.
Really?
Because first of all, I mean, I always have 50 tabs open, so that wouldn't be anything out of the ordinary. Right now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and this is a light day for me.
Okay, well, I'm learning so much about you.
Yeah, I never delete anything. Get your unique domain today at squarespace.com. If you sign up for a year, the domain is completely free, and you can also save 10% off your first purchase with the offer code Another Round, as in the title of the wonderful show that you are listening to right now. Make your next move with Squarespace. When it comes to bra shopping, it's all about finding the right fit for you. And speaking of the right fit, you know how you always hear that statistic that says something like 60 or 70 or 80% of the women on Earth, like all women on Earth who wear bras, are wearing the wrong size bra? It's crazy, right? So when I heard about Third Love, a company that says it can find you the best fitting bra in like 5 minutes without you even trying it on, I was like, okay, this is impossible. But guess what? I can actually say that I have tried Third Love, and the bra that they sent me actually fit me really, really well, and I was so surprised. Third Love uses thousands of real women's measurements and super smoothing memory foam to create bras that fit better and feel great. And they're available in sizes AA through G, and they even have exclusive half cup sizes. You can try a Third Love bra free for 30 days, and if it's not your new favorite bra, returns and exchanges are free. Go to thirdlove.com/anotherround now to find your perfect fit, and again, try it free for 30 days. That's thirdlove.com/anotherround. We are super, super, super pumped to be talking to the one and only Marcus Samuelsson. He is the owner of the wildly popular Red Rooster and Jenny's restaurants in Harlem. If you live in New York, you already know all about it. You've probably been there a time or two. He is the winner of Top Chef Masters Season 2, and he just released like his 800th book, I think.
I believe so.
That's it. You got it.
Yep. Red Rooster Harlem, the cookbook. Ladies and gentlemen, say hey to Marcus Samuelsson.
Hey.
Thank you for having me. I am so pumped to
Oh my
be
gosh.
We're so
excited that you're
excited.
here. So you grew up in Sweden.
here.
What do you miss most about Sweden?
Yeah. I would say herring and outdoor,
Really?
because outdoor, when you grew up in Sweden, there's really no such thing. I mean, really no such things as bad weather,
Wait, what do you mean? What's the weather like?
It's cold, and we lived on the coast, so
That sounds
So
bad.
That sounds bad.
you go swimming all year round, although it's freezing.
What?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And I grew up on an island too, so they just throw you in the water. And, for a black person, that's challenging as is.
Right.
But
That's triggering.
Yeah. And then herring, because that was also related to my family. They were fishermen. So go out fishing with my uncle, with my drunk uncle. He would have
Hey.
been awesome on this podcast, by the way.
Listen, we are
Where's
always
Uncle T
looking.
when you need him.
We're always looking for drunkles.
Yeah.
Please pass them this way.
Yeah, good. So, yeah, I think those two things,
So every time I talk about Sweden with somebody, they mention herring in particular. So is herring like the official food of Sweden?
It is,
That's a fish, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
herring, and it's one of these fishes, unless you grew up with it, it's hard to like.
Okay.
'Cause
Is it
it's
like really fishy?
Yeah, it's fishy, it's pickled. Jewish culture and sweets, that's for us, right?
Okay.
And it's all about, actually, when Sweden was a really poor country, you had to pickle and preserve. So
Yeah.
herring is one of those staple items that has sort of survived all the modernity, all the cool stuff, all the, Abbas and to Spotify, whatever. Herring still here.
That was a journey that
It
herring went on.
was. that was a poem, kind
Yeah.
of. It was a bit of a poem. So when I think of Sweden, I think of blonde-haired, blue-eyed white people, and like
Yes.
that's it.
Lots of them.
You are not either of those things. You are quite evidently an Ethiopian man.
Yeah.
What was it like being black in Sweden?
Oh, wow. It's also the particular time when I was coming up with me and my family. We were definitely the black family in the county, not on
In
the
the
block,
county.
not in the neighborhood.
Wow.
There was one other Indian kid that was adopted 3 schools away, and we knew each other. And like, there's the other Indian kid. And I just remember when there was a Finnish kid starting in our school. He was also blonde and blue-eyed, by the way. But it was a big deal. It was like, there's a Finnish kid coming.
We got diversity now.
Yeah, we got diversity. So it was a lot, but it was also a lot of good stuff. Like my mom was very particular. We could not leave the house without our hair and clothing being impeccable.
Perfect.
Because we were that family. And
You had to
also-
represent all of the other brown
Yes.
people.
And also my parents being white, they sort of had to they had to learn about black culture at the same time as we learned it.
Right.
Yeah.
How did they do that?
Sometimes a good job, sometimes not. Ask my sisters about how their hair was treated.
Oh.
Not so
my
good.
gosh.
There was a particular sound every Sunday night. There was like, and it was my mom reading like an old Essence and sort of like trying to fix my sister's hair at the same time.
He's like, I think I put the hair grease right here.
Yeah,
I did
yeah,
it right.
yeah.
What's
Bless
the
her heart.
problem?
But it also put a valuation for Essence and Ebony. Like if any of my family went to London, because that was sort of the closest connection to black people then, right? You could not come back without an Ebony or an Essence. Do not come back. Even if you have to pay like 80 pounds for it.
You will bring us these treasures of the outside world.
Exactly. So that's how my mom sort of.
Oh.
And it was, my dad, when he traveled a lot, he had to like go and find everything about our culture. And he could go to places like Dublin where maybe our culture wasn't that prominent. And my mom's like, you're abroad? Mm-hmm. How come you didn't bring back anything about black people? He was like, I was in Scotland.
Ain't no black people like that.
But they speak foreign,
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it was,
yeah.
It was a lot.
So you speak very glowingly of your parents, and you made
Yeah.
it a point to say that they introduced you to all your black heroes like Nina Simone, James Baldwin.
Yeah.
Tell us a little more about them. Like, how did they go about just like infusing you with like this part of yourself?
Yeah, I mean, being adopted, it just happens in so many different ways that, first of all, they were supposed to adopt a kid from Bolivia, from the other part of the world. They also wasn't ready to pick up 2 kids. So there's so many random acts that happens, right? And shout out to the sister in the hospital that saved us, because she had 3 kids on her own, and she took us in.
And this is when you were in Ethiopia.
She took us in and just took 2 extra kids in, although she was a single mother, had 3 kids already, right? And said, they can stay with me until they get adopted, right? So we here because we've been blessed by so many people just doing good acts of kindness. And then the one thing that my parents taught, we were around more than anything, we were around consistency and love. That was like bigger than, race was definitely in the room.
Right.
But consistency and love was 1 and 2, B, C, and D. You know, and I feared my mom more than I feared the cops. Like, grab you and like,
Didn't I tell you not to touch nothing? Don't look at nothing.
Yeah. So it was a lot of that.
What did your childhood smell like?
Ooh, smell, this is big. Because we grew up on the water, but we also grew up around the woods. So fragrance to me has that salty smell of the water. And then going with my dad into the woods, and we had to pick mushrooms. We had to sort of look at lingonberries and blueberries. So smells to me also reflects my first memory taste. You know, because if you pick lingonberries 3 weeks too early, they're just sour, right? And you learned that as a kid. That tart is like,
Yeah.
And so being nature, for me, it all evolves around nature. And I wouldn't be a chef without sort of have so much access to nature.
So are you saying that a lingonberry or some form of berry is the first thing you remember tasting?
I would say lingonberry is probably the first. And then we had a lot of berries in our garden, but blueberries we had ourselves. Wild strawberries and all of that stuff. And as a kid, you get so curious. So, eating a wild strawberry in May in Sweden, it's just tiny, tart, green, white looking, and not good. But then like 6 weeks later, and it's red, and not understanding that process. And it's like, wow. And it was natural food. Way before it was organic, way before there was farmer's market.
Right. It was literally just growing outside in the backyard.
Exactly.
Man, that sounds awesome.
Right? So I'm curious about, like, I love hearing people's, like, different idioms and, like, the sort of expressions of language that you carry from different languages. I'm still learning every English idiom.
Yeah.
I don't know any. So I found this Swedish saying in this book called The Illustrated Book of Sayings, Curious Expressions from Around the World by Ella Francis Sanders. It's just a bunch of collections of random expressions, idioms.
Ooh, idioms.
Little illustrations to accompany them. So this one says, a Swedish phrase, and I want to know all about it, sliding in on a shrimp sandwich. Are you familiar?
Sliding in on a shrimp sandwich. So shrimp sandwich.
Is that a thing that people eat?
What are you talking about?
I've never heard of a shrimp sandwich.
It's a big deal.
Really?
And it's peel and eat shrimps that they are right in the water outside where I've been on shrimp boats so many times. And the key is you boil the shrimp on the boat, and they warm. And the key is to eat them, head on them, and you peel them on the boat, and you eat them, and they're so delicious, warm, right? So what the Swedish shrimp sandwich is small peel and eat shrimps, a little bit of mayo, a little bit too much. I don't like that.
I like a lot of mayo. I love dill. Okay.
Dill and a little bit of lemon, and then maybe you get them on like a French white baguette or something like that, or like a nice toast.
Okay.
That is everything's a little bit of white wine, and there's a party.
Okay, but what does it mean to slide in someplace on a shrimp sandwich?
I've never heard that translation. Doesn't really make sense.
Okay, so this book tells
So how would you
me...
say it in Sweden? We got it.
Yeah, can you read that for us, the Swedish?
Glida in på en räkmacka. Okay. So
that's so pretty.
That's interesting the way that translated, right? So glida in på en räkmacka is actually somebody that is privileged. Like I would say Donald Trump glided in
on a shrimp sandwich.
Like, Papa set it up, and then obviously it's highly confused about real time what's happening.
Right.
Highly not connected with realism.
Oh man, this is such a read.
And then thinking this is real because you say it, which doesn't mean it is. Right? Hello, Central Park 5.
Hi.
And so just gliding in there.
Yeah.
You know, I
Just
would say
all
trust
set up
fund,
for you.
Trust fund babies gliding in.
The translation
shrimp
they
sandwich.
give is being born with a silver spoon in your mouth.
Yeah, oh, I didn't know that. I missed that
Yeah.
part. But you know, like trust fund babies were probably.
Yeah, so
I think
Donald
that
Trump-
the 3 of us here in the room all clearly know the
Listen.
lot
So
about
much
it.
about
I
it.
So
mean,
much. The Hamish culture and everything.
this is great. This is my new insult for Donald Trump. That nigga wrote in on a shrimp sandwich. Episode title.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk some about like this little side hustle that you have of being like a master chef, whatever, you know.
I like that. Yeah.
You know, this little
Yeah,
hobby.
the thing.
Cute little hobby.
Yeah.
So I am somebody who loves to eat, but I don't consider myself a foodie because I feel like I don't like know enough or
such
like
an
I don't
alienating
We take you. We
Yeah.
take you. I think
Okay.
That's actually the majority of the world.
Hey, that's
But the
me.
difference that you said, you actually admitted. That
Uh-huh. Oh, I
Yeah.
know what I don't know.
A lot of foodies are like, they love to eat
Uh-huh.
and they don't know how to cook, but they think they know how to cook because
Uh-huh.
like now on, they can be part of it by just posting something on Instagram.
Right. Oh
So,
my gosh, my
you
shrimp
know,
sandwich.
I like-
It's so good.
I like funny things. I like you guys and Dave Chappelle, but that doesn't mean, you know, I think I'm a comedian, right?
Right.
Those are two completely different things.
Listen, I would never roll up in Red Rooster talking about give me a frying pan. I would never do that. But like another thing that I don't know is like I'm not familiar with just like the process of like rating a restaurant. Like you at the tender age of 23 were given a 3-star rating by the New York Times.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Youngest ever, all time.
Okay.
No, but what it
Steph
for
Curry
me,
with the pot.
for me, it meant that, you know, just being a black person, you know that you shot. When I got the shot to become a chef, I was way too young to become a chef of that restaurant. But also, the paranoid black man in me said, or my mom, she's like, they never ask you again. They'll never ask you again.
Can you give us back up a little?
Yeah,
like,
so-
what was the context for
So
this?
I came to
review?
New York to work at Aquavit as sous chef, which is right under the chef, and then he passed away. And my mom, I was like, whoa, what's going to happen now? So I ran it with the notion of someone's going to come in and he's going to be he or she's going to be much older than me.
Someone's gonna replace you.
Yeah, replace me, and that was good because that's what I needed. And then one day they said, "Well, you're the chef," and just being paranoid. My mom's like, "This is a setup. You're gonna get fired."
They
And
setting you up to fail.
Yeah, setting me up to fail. And I was nervous because Aquavit, the restaurant, it's a very famous restaurant, so I didn't want to be the person to close it. I was
Right.
just crazy. But my dad's like, "Listen, you're not gonna. This is a chance. You're in New York City. If you have a great run, you can then jet and do your own thing." Which my mom's like, "This is not good. This is a setup. My son's coming home, paranoid."
Don't make me come over there.
But I also thought about how often do we get chances?
Right.
Yeah.
So all I have to do is work hard, which I was already doing. So I'm going for it, and I went for it. And at that point, I've been around great food since I was 17, or even it's almost like you're like a gospel singer and your auntie sang all the time. You didn't know you were around good music. My grandmother cooked everything organic. Everything was healthy. So I grew up with really good food. So I knew that I'd been studying in Japan and France and Switzerland and all that stuff. But the validation of it was probably a mix between grandma's cooking, me training all these years, and then so I was maybe 33 in my experience, but 23 on paper. And also as we do it, black people, we come to it. We never have a linear ride, right? And even if you're adopted, even if you didn't grow up here, the blackness doesn't go away.
Preach.
You know what I mean? So still, this was that moment for me, and I took it. I took it. I grabbed
Had
it.
to grab it. It was right there. That must have been some tremendous pressure, though, right?
I felt pressure was more, what if I would never get a chance again? So,
Yeah.
pressure comes from different things. So for me, it was, being yelled at in France, that was pressure. Or being in Japan and not understanding what the other person said, but yet you had to do
Right.
it. That was pressure.
Wait, can we talk about that? That sounds
That's
stressful.
giving me anxiety just thinking
No,
about
but when
it.
you're in other countries, at that point, I'd been immigrant 6 times in 7 years. So always being off with the language. So part of it was easier to be in New York because I could speak English. And, the night I was off, I can go and see like Tommy Davidson down in the Village or something like that. I
Right.
could be in the culture of New York City or go uptown to Harlem.
You
So,
still had that access to it.
yeah, it was harder for me to be in France, being yelled at and screamed at, being, in France or Switzerland. So just working hard and being in New York City, what? I'll take that chance.
Word.
Speaking of being yelled at, we heard that you had a run-in with one Mr. Gordon Ramsay once upon a time.
Ooh. We did hear about this.
We heard. I loved how
we
you
heard.
only.
A little bird told me.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell us that story? And do you still like ever run into each other? Do you interact?
No, I think it's, that moment. I was in England working, in London working, and
How old were you?
I was 28, 29. And just to get, every year they're elected an American guy to be the chef that represent America. And I was elected that year. And it was a really big year for me to go to London and do it. And, it's one of these things that you kind of put behind you, but it will never really go away.
So, just for our listeners, the thing that happened was Mr.
What
Ramsay.
happened
What happened was,
I love
we
that.
say this in real life.
Yeah.
But Mr. Ramsay felt like you didn't give him his proper respects in some situations. So he called you, yelled at you, and basically called you a black bastard, which is not a small thing.
Yeah, and I think it was, it's one of the things that we're opening Red Rooster in London in a couple of months.
Oh.
And I look at London with so much love and excitement and, all of this stuff. But I do remember that. And whether I'm close to that place, if I run in the park or if I'm, going to a restaurant close by, I know exactly what time, what energy. Because I was so hyped and so excited. I was speaking to, like the right people came to the room. And just one incident just brought me down hard. And, but I'm here and he's not. I'm here with you guys and he's not.
Listen, I know that's right. And so that made me wonder, how, because especially in America, every industry is fucking racist, pretty much, right? How does race function and operate in the food industry?
Food and race, it's operates very closely. First of all, cooking has been an anonymous labor forever.
Right.
And now when it's a visible labor, we're almost checked out. So that by itself makes it highly complex. Part with our own doing, because when our parents had the chance to send us to college, they said, hey, we don't want to be cooks. or chefs.
I don't want you to have to
be a
scrub
lawyer,
pots like I
doctor,
did.
with more traditional fields. So we didn't become a labor period in the United States until in the late 70s. So up until that point, black people did a lot of the cooking, of course, from the White House and down. But it wasn't part of pop culture, right? Food has only been part of pop culture since really Emerald brought it to food. Julia Childs and Shock really brought it into PBS, but part of pop culture is probably the last 10 years, right?
True.
So how we fit into that hemisphere is very, very, very different. I remember just being here in the States, and every time I cooked somewhere, they're like, "Who's the chef?" And the host was always so embarrassed because I'm like, I don't even see you right now because I'm doing my thing. But they were always embarrassed, and I've been cooking at country clubs, major events, maybe donor events, and they hand me the towel like I'm going to go.
Gosh.
So, but we all, as black people, we always
all
been
been
around.
handed the towel.
Been around it. So for me, I don't think my experience are bigger than any other. But each time it happens, it does. And so much what I do today is about how do you turn that coin when that happens. How do you become like an aioli dancer and really sharp and hit that perfectly? How do you project your narrative in a more precise way? So for me, all of it, end of the day, it's inspirational. You just have to. And every day, you have to tell yourself, I'm the man, I'm the shit, and this is the only way for you to compete in this universe. I wish it wasn't, but it is.
Yeah.
So,
How do you think you learned to do that? Because I'm still learning how to do it, honestly.
I think one of the things, I grew up in a middle class society, but my parents came from poverty. And on top of that, being black, my mom was always honest about this, right? That, beyond just work hard, do your best, they were very clear about that your shit, you're going to get blamed. Very clear. There was not a hush-hush conversation about that. So my mom was very vocal about that. But my dad used to give me here's Malcolm's book. Read that, get back to me. Homework. That was my real homework. It was not the school homework. Here's Fella. he projected something different. What is that about? Like, how could he do that out of Nigeria? When people were doing pop songs at 3 minutes, fella was doing intros at 8 minutes.
He was like, nah, 25 minutes.
So what is
Sit
that
back,
about?
get comfortable.
Like, so he always, even to the point where you watch Michael and Prince, just hitting perfection like that. Like thinking about it from that level and transcending. Well, I mean, if you think about music videos and then you watch Michael, like, what is that? So I have to think of
What is that?
Yeah, so I have to think about cooking. What's the same thing? People ate all their life, but then I wanted to put, seared, cured fish on top with maybe a sorbet made with buttermilk. That's on a different, and they're adapting to black context, right? So I'm like, I want to operate here. I didn't look at other restaurants. I looked at the street vendors. I looked at the park. I look at Lenox Avenue on a Sunday. So you have to create your own narrative, and it takes a lot of arrogance and humility.
I wanna spend some time here for a second, because one of the things that you've said, I can't remember which interview, was that a good restaurant in Harlem is not just a restaurant, it's a community. What does that mean?
Well, the word restaurant, which most people don't know, it means to restore your community.
I had no
Right?
idea. Are you kidding me? Did you just make that up?
Boom. And then how does that then happen?
Get a fact check.
And how does that then operate into our communities? That's very different, because if you think about restore your communities, so that means on Sunday, I should have gospel brunch, not because it's cool, because the kids are out there singing gospel. They should come in and perform for us. So if I just operate it from if our windows need to be clean, I don't go downtown for that service. I get it to Johnny down the street. If I want to serve jerk chicken, it better be as good as the jerk chicken you get in the park.
Right.
Otherwise, guess what?
They're going to go to the park.
LaShonda would check me. Because she knows. So my reference point can't be Bobby Flay on that context. It could be on other things. But once we uptown, so we all know that our communities operate so different. Rather than being paranoid about that, how about study that shit instead? If there's a street vendor, that's why I always have a local pop-up in my store, right? And that jerk chicken should taste the way it does in the park. And guess what? We should be able to play Miles, Biggie, and Diana,
Preach.
and maybe at the same time, mixed in by the right DJ.
Yes.
Now you have a restaurant that operates well in our community.
That was beautiful.
I know.
I know.
But it's not. It's all about when we enter the world and we want to do something great. For me, I have to study to bring our community closer, not shy away. In the cooking I did before that was we didn't exist.
Oh.
It was only reference from France, right? So I was like, no, we do exist, and we're right here, and it's delicious.
Run and tell that.
Right. It was delicious. So we had a chance to go to the restaurant.
Yes.
We had the time of our lives. And it's so funny that you described it as a church service, because I said the same exact thing.
I had all the emotions.
Yeah, like
cried a little
the
bit, not
entire
gonna lie.
table was in
Tracy
tears
was the
at
only
one
one who
point.
didn't cry. It's
I wasn't
cool.
going to bring that up, but
'Cause she's strong like that.
I am.
strong like that.
Feelings, emotions. What are these things?
I love Harlem so much, and when I lived there, I loved being around that. But I was also, I remember especially on Sundays, I would see so many like European tourists who would be like out and about with their cameras. And like obviously there's a lot of like tourism in Harlem. Like there's a lot of dope shit in Harlem. But for stuff that's just like people going to church, and it felt a little like,
Well, I mean-
were you mindful of the like, I don't know, there's a lot going on in Harlem right now and all over New York in terms of obviously like gentrification and tourism.
And one of the things that struck me was the clientele was mostly white when we were there that day. And I wondered, like, because having been in media, we know that like when you start a thing that people love and it grows, it becomes harder to like kind of like check and police. So the cultural tourism aspects about it, like, do you ever feel like people are coming to just like see what the Negroes are up to and see what they're doing?
I mean, the one thing that is consistent through decades is like people's going to always look under the hood. There's always going to be an interest of that and how we do it and why we do it. There's never been a time in the history of urban hasn't been cool, right?
Yeah.
But the tour buses is obviously something I thought about a lot, but I also thought about, well, I look at great food as a civil rights. Now, how do you create that in a pop culture context? And that's what that's about. The tour buses, I thought about it a lot, but I thought, like, you know what? Let's create some context and content for them to come off and maybe also buy the newspaper from the deli next to me, right? So that's why the art, the music, the food, and the hospitality, it's all one at Rooster. It's not, we don't have stuff on the wall because it's popular. Every single one of those artists is a window in to this very culture, right? The music that we play has not context just because it's the latest thing on the whatever is happening. It speaks. So we're creating something that is in and of. And I felt now maybe you can go back 2 hours later on that tour bus informed. That must and will help all of us.
I think I kind of saw this happen because I had got there a little bit early, so I was waiting downstairs at the hostess station or the host station at Jenny's downstairs, and there was a woman, there was an older white woman who was looking for the bathroom. She came downstairs. She was like, "Do you know where the bathroom is?" I was like, "Oh no, ma'am, it's my first time here. Sorry." And then she came back down. She was like, "Okay, I'm looking for a picture of Miles Davis." Miles Davis, and I was like, "Today's the day that she finds out who Miles Davis is because she has to pee."
God,
Yeah.
teach the children.
I thought it was
or grown-ass
beautiful.
adults.
Yeah.
No, but
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
So I mean, we a third of our audience is Harlemite, and a third is New Yorkers, and a third are visitors, and we have a way to sort of know that.
Yeah, you
based on
attract a lot of
information.
international folks.
Yeah, but you know, so it's my goal to open was to become instant vintage, right? And you
Ooh.
can't. There are so many landmarks, whether it's Sylvia's or Apollo or the Schomburg or the Studio Museum. So you can't just roll up and say, "I want to be that."
Yeah.
You actually have to earn that, right? And our community will tell us very much so early.
Listen,
Boo, get
I
off
know
the
that's
stage.
right.
Yes. Yes.
Literally what happens at the Apollo down the street.
Exactly. Yeah. Or at Red Rooster.
Or at Red Rooster.
We've had many specials that got booed off the stage.
What?
What?
And then we learned
Yeah.
and moved on.
How about we transition now to a segment that we like to call Pew Pew Pew. Pew, pew, pew.
Nice.
So since you're an avid listener of the show, you know what it is already.
All right.
But this is our rapid fire question segment. The goal is always rapid fire. Sometimes it's quick. You just, do what's in your heart. Okay. We have to ask this question right now before you leave the premises. How do you feel about the candy, the alleged candy, Swedish fish?
Not a big fan.
Yes. Heaven loves them, and I,
I love
don't
the
understand.
face of frustration you just made. I felt like
Well,
a
I mean,
cartoon.
growing up, right, it was the Swedish chef on the Muppet Show. No, that's not how we talk.
I was going to ask about that too.
You know, we don't all shop at Ikea or H&M. We could. We like them. And we don't all happen to listen to ABBA all the time.
What?
Some of us
Yes.
enjoy that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
my favorite off-brand candy is Trader Joe's has a version of Swedish fish called Scandinavian Swimmers.
Get out.
Clearly didn't want to pay the full
Leave.
price. And somewhere in the basement, there's somebody stamping that out.
Heaven, don't eat those anymore. Okay, I have
Okay.
another semi-stereotypical question, and then that's it, I
Oh, man.
promise.
So what is
Semi.
that?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Swedish meatballs at Ikea. What are your thoughts? Because I happen to love them personally.
But there's one thing in the word meatballs. It needs to be a real meat.
Ooh.
There's a real meat in there. We
Have
just
you
don't know
met
what
him?
it is.
I never met him.
It's horse. It's a delicious pony.
You're right. You're right. You're right. My bad. My bad.
Ooh.
Clearly, you're right, chef.
I mean,
Yeah.
shout out to Ikea. Listen, I will eat all the meatballs in lingonberry sauce.
Do you refrigerate your ketchup?
Ooh.
I don't. But ketchup is one of these things that it's so misunderstood. I think, first of all, the word ketchup really comes from Indonesia. The whole idea is kecap manis. That's where it comes from, which is a sweet and salty soy sauce.
Ooh.
And then in ketchup, there's also umami, right? This flavor note that you found in miso soup and all of these things. So ketchup, I put it not on too many things anymore, but I kind of love it. You know, if I watch a soccer game, but it's one of these things that I've always fallen in love with it, right? But maybe I would do it a different way. As a chef, you would think about, I wonder how lingonberry would work as a ketchup.
Yeah, there's not a
Whoa.
lot of flavored ketchups, but there's all
Whoa.
these flavored like mayos and stuff.
Yeah.
Whoa.
But it comes.
You just blew Heaven's mind.
I never even thought about a different ketchup. What if ketchup was different?
ketchup. Ketchup manis. That's where it came from.
I did not know that.
Indonesia.
So Heaven's pondering the existence
Sorry.
of ketchup.
Yeah.
It's okay. Take your
I'm
time.
usually not
allowed
You
to
take
ask
all
any
the time you
questions.
need,
I'm in
girl.
it. I'm in it now.
So you are a big fan of Bob Marley. If he were still with us and you were going to cook for him, what would you make him?
First of all, I just happened, I did an event together with Ziggy Marley the other day. And I don't geek out on famous people. But I'm like, this was hard for me. And it wasn't even Bob, it was Ziggy, but I was just like, I can't, because Bob for me, it's like, it's Michael and Bob and Prince. They were they are my confidence on different levels. Like I learned, Bob Marley was my first English teacher, like my mom, the very first record I've ever had is Uprising by Bob Marley. And she looked at me and said, this is what we're listening to, which is coding for, this is what black people listen to.
Right.
I'm like, and it's confusing when you're like 8 and look at your mom, like, okay.
So wait, what would you cook for Bob Marley?
Oh, I would do, of course, vegetarian food. You have to do, nice little, just like vegetarian stew, maybe Ethiopian food, because that's our card of Bob, right?
Yes.
Bringing back home.
Yes.
So I know when Ziggy, when we met, and he knows that I'm Ethiopian, he's like, the cool card came out. And I played it early. I was something the whole
He's like, what's up,
but
cousin?
I'm like, listen, I'm Ethiopian. He's like, I know, man. And I was like, okay, it's going to go well. Yes. So vegetarian, it would be definitely chickpeas with a little bit of injera bread.
Ooh.
And then maybe some
greens, maybe?
some potatoes. And then, it's all vegetarian. We'll go vegan.
I think Ethiopian food is the only cuisine in which I could eat a vegetarian meal and feel full.
All the time.
I don't believe in meals with no meat, personally. It's just my brain doesn't.
Oh, no. Ethiopian is good. Indian, I think I can get you that to a good Indian meal, too.
Indian and Ethiopian.
Yeah.
Okay.
But vegetarian, Ethiopian, it's like definitely a way to go. Definitely.
Yeah.
I imagine there's not a lot of black barbers in all the places you've been to, traveled.
Can we talk about this?
Yes.
Don't set me up. You knew that.
No,
That's a
I'm
setup
just.
question.
It's not a setup.
When I lived in Switzerland,
Somebody got a
finding
story.
that one black barber, it was like 20, it was like 1 hour on a train ride that way, and then the act was very quick.
Of course, it's
But
like
then the whole
a 10-minute haircut.
And this guy wasn't even black, but he liked Bobby Brown.
Oh.
And that's why I know you can do my hair. Because we can talk about stuff. Don't be cruel.
Did he leave you with a hot top with the part on the side?
All of it. What?
Do you have a picture that we can
I
see?
could have brought in the picture.
Oh my God, please send those.
Means I have to come back.
Yeah,
Yes.
Means I have
you
to-
must.
Oops, there's
You
that.
must come back.
I believe there's one of you in a jerry curl as well.
All of it.
Yes.
But so...
I was going to ask you, what's the worst haircut you've ever had?
Oh my God, that's right up there. But on the right day, when my sister did it, it was good. It was fly.
Ooh, juicy?
Oh, juicy, definitely.
Wait,
and greasy.
Your sister gave you a jerry curl?
My sister ran my life.
No.
I didn't go out
know
my
that you
house
could administer
before-
those at home.
No.
I didn't know you could administer those at home either.
Oh, you can't. In Sweden, we're like,
What else you going to do?
yeah.
Ain't got nothing to do today. Give my brother jerry curl. Why not?
I was in Gothenburg the other day, and a friend of mine was there, and I said, and here's that one black hairdress store.
Oh.
And I said, and it's been there for 35 years.
Oh, bless the
And we
hearts.
stood out there and just looked at a shop. And it wasn't like a male barbershop or a beauty. It was all combined. Like it was all Ethiopian, Somalian,
Yeah,
Kenyan
yeah.
women like weaving, doing the hair. Black guys doing the hair, their
The only
stuff.
place you can get a do-rag for
Yeah,
30
you're right.
miles.
All of it combined. All of it combined.
Oh, the struggle.
The struggle.
Ooh.
Do you think Obama had a do-rag?
Yes. Obama's somewhere in a do-rag
Like
right
a White
now.
House do-rag?
With the seal on it. I hope
He
so.
looked so happy. Can we talk about the picture on the beach? Nicely tanned.
It makes me
And just look at him. He's like, oh, I told you.
just living.
That's what he's saying.
Just
with the
living his
picture. I told
life.
y'all.
It really is like when your ex moves on and he's just like happy.
Yeah.
Found somebody
Thriving,
else with
glowing.
good credit,
Yeah.
and you just at home like,
Salty.
motherfucker. why aren't you struggling more? Heben has a question about lasagna that I would really like to know the answer to.
Ooh, do you have lasagna at Thanksgiving? I feel like that's mad Abisha. But
Yeah, it is Habesha to do that. We do
We have lasagna
Dorawat.
for
we
everything.
Do Dorawat. We do Dorawat. That's my favorite Ethiopian dish.
Yes.
And it's actually meat in it, so you would like it.
Oh, that's my favorite as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah.
I know.
So
I've
not
introduced
lasagna,
Tracy.
no.
Yes.
No, but we do other crazy stuff. We do have herring and meatballs on that
Okay.
Thanksgiving menu.
herring
Yeah.
Herring and
Thanksgiving.
meatballs like in the same like pot.
No,
Okay.
church and steak.
Okay,
What are you
okay.
talking?
I
I'm like,
was
what
worried,
are
but
you
I didn't want to
talking
judge.
about?
I didn't
said,
want
"Put
to
some
judge.
respect on my
Whoa.
You're right. You're right. You are
Put
right.
some respect on my pot's name. I would never.
You gotta like fix this up.
Would you rather have gills or a beak?
Beak.
Because you can use it as a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Y'all on the same page?
See, I already knew because that was also my answer too.
Okay, is aioli just gentrified mayo?
Ooh.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I might actually put that on the menu. And I think gentrified mayo might sell even better.
I love mayo. I think mayo gets a bad rep.
I agree.
But the aioli, if you're not a big mayo fan, aioli is actually a little bit better because it often starts with the base could be garlic or potato, so it sort of have less fat in it.
Potato?
Yeah, but you can take almonds. You can take anything that would keep it bind, right? So you need less egg. You need less egg yolk on it. So I'm learning a lot. I'm walking away with lingonberries, with herring and meatballs.
You're welcome.
I'm walking away with fake Swedish fish, fake news to the Swedish
Listen.
fish.
Scandinavian
Gentrified
swimmers.
mayo.
Yeah, I'm learning a lot.
Are you the kind of person who has ice cream in the winter?
I do have ice creams in the winter.
That's wrong.
It does.
Whoa.
No.
Whoa.
Didn't I say that I grew up in the coldest country in the world, by the way?
did. And you
Okay, well,
called
you
it-
get a pass.
Ice cream in the winter in January. No problem.
Evan, what's your excuse?
Yeah.
I
It's
just
too
like
cold
ice
for
cream.
ice
I'm a
cream.
fan.
Oh, okay.
Crunchy or creamy peanut butter?
Ooh.
Crunch.
Yes.
Crunch.
What?
Get out of
Crunch.
here, Tracy.
I'm gone. Bye. Really?
Is there any food you've ever ate so much you had to like pause and be like, I need a break?
As a kid, probably burgers because we weren't allowed. Like my grandmother's like fish was every day. Right?
Oh,
so
my
one day, the one thing that my mom grandmother and mom used to look at me. It's like Levi's jeans. We can make that. So sneakers was the
DIY.
one thing that they couldn't fix. So I always freaked out on sneakers and all of that stuff. And I still have this thing. So burgers was the one thing that my grandmother couldn't really figure out.
Yeah.
So all right, come on, get out of here.
Go get your little burger.
Yeah. So I would say the same thing there.
I love that.
Yeah.
Please come back every day.
Yes.
You guys are the best.
Oh,
You are the best.
You were the best.
No, but
So
you're really
you.
inspiring. Off camera, all of this stuff.
Aw.
You're really inspiring.
I really
you know?
appreciate
We
that.
feel
There's
so
two
honored that
levels to
you.
this that are really. The hustle is incredible, and that's inspiring. And then
You know all about hustle.
no, of course, and that's inspiring. And then like figuring out how to cut through because it's so cluttered with everything. You guys have done both. So.
Aw, thank
Very good.
you.
We
I
out
hope,
here.
I hope this means that you will come back.
Yes,
will.
regular comebacks.
All right.
Yeah,
Where
and
can-
also then. Hopefully
by,
we'll
the
eat
restaurant.
real time. I was wondering, are we going to eat real time and talk?
Listen, no, you were the only thing that could make me travel from Brooklyn to Harlem on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, but see,
okay,
you know
so
what?
I will be back.
But we're going to do it live at Ginny's next time.
Yeah.
And we're going to get drunk for real.
Yes. Okay,
love
you
that.
heard it here on the show. You cannot walk away from this now.
No.
It's forever and for real.
Yes.
Marcus Samuelsson, you are a delight and a joy, and you make really great macaroni and cheese. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you. Where can people find you and your work on the internet? Or off the internet?
Yeah, Marcus Cooks. Everything is all there.
There's
of course.
Twitter, Instagram.
So Marcus Cooks is on Instagram and Twitter, and then obviously on marcussamuelsson.com you can find all that other stuff. So.
And
All
the
right.
latest of many books is called
Red Rooster, the cookbook,
cookbook.
the hustle.
Yes.
It is a beautiful book.
It is a cookbook, but also there's a lot in there.
Yeah. No, it
It's like a
starts
book.
with me getting robbed. That's how it starts.
So you
And
start
We
with
get
drama.
rooted in Harlem.
Yeah. No. My point is, I didn't get robbed in Harlem. I got robbed
True.
in Midtown.
True.
See,
So
don't fuck
that's
with
just
Midtown.
saying, like, boom.
Nobody
It
needs to fuck
happens
with Midtown.
everywhere.
It does. It does. But they only be talking about Harlem like it's like the worst place.
Yes. Paranoid to the bone.
You gotta teach the baby.
Yes.
You gotta tell them.
Thank you
Marcus,
so
thank
much.
you
God, you
so
guys are
much.
fun.
Tracy McGee, it's time to buy some rounds. I'll allow it.
Hey, now can't you just see me on stage in my brown dress
Yes.
going?
Is that what you sang for them?
Yep.
Strange fruit rounds. So Tracy McGee, I would like to buy a round for you, like yet again.
Like this is like the fifth time. Oh my, this is getting in burst.
So Tracy does this thing called Just One Thing, which I think about all the time.
Do you really? I don't think about it as much as I should.
So Tracy be tweeting random stuff that be life changing, and she don't even think about it. You know.
light work.
So Just One Thing is just literally there's this one thing you need to do today, and it has been looming over your head. Perhaps you're anxious about it and avoiding it. But once you do your Just One Thing, like you got to celebrate.
Oh my gosh, it's the best feeling.
How did it start?
I was freaking out one day. That's how all my ideas start. I was freaking out one
about
day.
Right.
I get really, really bad task paralysis. And when I say task paralysis, it's like you have so much stuff to do that you just can't do any of it. And I get really bad task paralysis when my to-do list piles up. And my to-do list piles up when I get anxious. And I get anxious whenever my eyes are open.
Okay.
So
being alive.
So that means I'm always paralyzed and just like can't do anything. And then like I still have shit to do. My to-do list keeps getting longer and longer and longer. And I'm just sitting on the couch like, I just can't pick up this T-shirt in the corner right now. I just cannot do it.
Right. It could be anything from like laundry to like emailing someone
to,
or like
going to your rental. It could be literally anything
renting.
when when you're anxious, when you're depressed. Everything is a mountain that you have to climb.
Word.
No matter what it actually is. So the way that I get myself out of this task paralysis rut, sometimes it works, it usually works, not always, is I take my to-do list, right? And I take the first thing that's on the list. And I take another list and I put that one thing from that list onto the new list. And that's my new to-do list. And I'm like, this is all I have to do today. Because a lot of times, like, the thing that, like, paralyzes me is just like, once I finish this thing, I got to do this thing, I got to do this thing. And then it doesn't become like, pick your shirt up off the floor. It becomes, do this entire list of things before the sun sets.
Right.
And then my brain is like, you thought. So the idea behind just one thing is like, that's the only, your to-do list is only one thing, just one item. And once you like, however like much hyping yourself up you have to do the one thing, just like commit to doing it, commit to being uncomfortable, commit to hating every minute of picking that shirt off the floor, but just commit to doing it. And then once it's done, you celebrate. I don't care what that celebration looks like. It could be, I mean, like, obviously if you like pick up a shirt, maybe don't fly to Italy, like make it,
proportional celebration.
Proportional, yes. But like, maybe it's like, I'm going to order dinner tonight instead of cooking dinner, or I'm going to go get a new lipstick tomorrow, or I'm going to just like dance around in my drawers. Is how I really enjoy celebrating. But I really think that the sensation, like once you get to the feeling of having done the thing and like the relief that courses through your body, you can remember it more if you celebrate it.
Absolutely. And I feel like self-care has become a thing that's like popular to talk about, which is dope. That's rare. Like as a culture that we're reflecting on how we're caring about ourselves.
Right.
Hey, that's dope. But sometimes it gets too like, like capitalism consumes it and it's just like buy stuff or go to a spa.
You deserve self-care.
Yeah.
Come to the Bahamas.
And it's like, that's not quite it.
Yeah, it's not.
So sometimes taking care of yourself means doing that one thing that makes you really uncomfortable. Is not going to bring you any joy. It does not bring any of the pleasures of capitalism. You know what I mean?
You just get to breathe a little bit easier once it's done. And then once you
that's
do the one
self-care
thing.
too.
Yeah. Once you do the one thing, you're like, okay, maybe I can do another thing, because that one thing that I thought would take hours actually took 12 minutes.
And you be getting so mad.
Yeah, like I've been hiding from this for a month and I just could have done the shit and got it out of the way.
Clearly I self-identify.
Yeah.
It's bringing up a lot for me. It's just like, I could have not spent a week worrying about this.
For real.
Anyways, so I'm a fan of Tracy's Just One Thing.
Oh, I wrote an article about it once on BuzzFeed.com. We should put it in the newsletter.
Ooh.
We'll do that.
Just do your one thing. Anyways, Tracy, I never know how to say this word. You buoy me. You keep me afloat.
Buoy. That's a good word.
It's like a sea of shit. I'm like, what is keeping me afloat? Oh, there's Tracy telling me just one thing. So I fucks with you. Round for Tracy.
I will accept this round. I will.
Who you buying around for, Tracy?
I'm buying around for furniture.
Does that mean you have some?
It means that I'm in the process of acquiring much furniture. I'm so excited.
Why are we celebrating furniture?
So I've been living like a bachelor pretty much since I moved to New York City.
Oh.
It's kind of a long story, but all of my furniture is still in Kentucky.
Heaven silently shaking her head.
She did. I saw it happen. And so I move up. I get a 6-month apartment. Fully furnished. I don't need my stuff. I go to another temporary place. I go to another temporary place. Blah, 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 blah. All my stuff is still. Yeah, exactly.
A lot of temporary places.
Living in this. I've had like 4 or 5 apartments. I've been here for 3 years.
You ain't been here that long.
Right?
Yeah.
Like what the hell?
That sounds accurate.
I know. So I'm finally in an apartment that I like and I can see myself in until they raise the rent too much and I have to go.
Sure. Eventually.
Eventually. It's coming. But you know what? I was like, I want a house that feels like a home. Like I want something that feels like somebody lives there long term. Because like all I had was a bookshelf and a bed and like a dresser. The cheapest coffee and side table at Ikea. What's up, Lack? I see you.
Yes, everybody know about that, Lack.
Everybody knows about it. And like an ottoman, and that's it. Like I couldn't invite people over and like have, or I could. I just had to be like, okay, so 2 people can come in. And finally, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I want to be an adult. I want to have like a rug and like shit on the walls and like just like furniture, like nice, cozy, comfy furniture and not stuff that's just functional.
Yeah.
So I've been saving money to take a vacation someplace. And then I was like, you know what? Because I travel so much for work, and I was like, what if I just sat my black ass down for a little while? And then I was like,
Look at that
what
light
if,
flex.
you know? And then I was like, while I sit here, what if I like tried to turn this place into something? And I think it's turning into something.
Oh, Tracy, I'm so proud of you.
Me too. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm at least trying.
It took you so long to admit to me that you were, what was the word you used to describe New York that wasn't like hatred?
I don't remember this ever happening.
It, maybe.
I don't remember this conversation ever taking place. Don't know her.
So I'm excited to see you putting out actual furniture roots.
Yeah, like imagine when I have like a place to live in that I love.
I know.
It's gonna be so nice. And like I already feel like different. Like I slept on the couch last night and I have like this
I love a good
glass.
couch sleep.
Love it. Love it. I'm about to get some curtains.
Okay.
Yeah. When you got curtains,
That's
wall
how you know
art,
you
and a
legit.
rug, that's how you know you live someplace. So I'm upgrading my life from bachelor to whatever's above that, but still
Sustaining
lonely.
human.
Okay, yes, that. And I'm excited. So shout out to furniture.
Aw, Tracy, I'm proud of you.
So much because I'm proud of me too because it's been way too long.
Shout out to your furniture.
Thanks. You should come and sit on it sometimes.
Ooh.
I still only have a couch to sit on, but
I love a good couch.
yay. Heaven, we did it. We made it. We
Tracy,
did it.
we made it.
Shout out to Marcus Samuelsson for coming through and giving us delicious chicken.
Oh my God. The
It
mac
was
and cheese and nacho.
so good.
Yes,
I
it
just
was.
had to reflect on it.
Excellent.
You can find Marcus Samuelsson on the Twitters at Marcus Cooks. And check out the Red Rooster cookbook. If you make some of the food and you're in New York City, let me have some.
What?
I just want some chicken. If somebody else can like replicate it, it would be
All
great.
right. Shout out to the Pod Squad.
Pod Squad. This episode was produced by Nina Patak and Julia Furlan with editorial oversight from Eleanor Kagan and Meg Kramer, and tons, metric tons even, if you will, of superior production support from Agara Neshashagre and Alex Laughlin, who recently joined the team. Hey, girl, we're so glad to have you here.
Hey.
Y'all are the greatest and the cutest. They're just so adorable.
Facts, and facts.
Shout outs to our in-house musicians, Miss Jean Gray. You can follow her on Twitter at Jean Greasy, and Don Will of the rap group Tanya Morgan. You can follow him at Don Will. You can follow Heaven at Heaven Rants. That's Heaven like the place in the sky, and Rants like the thing that y'all little president is probably doing right now over something stupid. You can follow me on Twitter and all the things at Broken McPoverty. I don't know. I'll be tweeting about stuff.
Email us, tweet us, etc. at Another Round, Facebook Another Round, Twitter Another Round, email Another Round at BuzzFeed.com. And you can rate us on iTunes, tell a friend. Word of mouth is the best way to spread podcasts. Obviously, you
indeed.
want to spread joy amongst your friends and family and loved ones.
Yeah, don't keep all the joy to yourself, y'all.
Don't be greedy. That's rude.
You know, sure, it's a renewable resource, but still. Subscribe to the newsletter. The newsletter is so good. It's so good and it's so fun. You can do that at BuzzFeed.com/anotherround/newsletter. Drink some water, take your meds, call your person. Ooh, exfoliate.
Ooh.
Listen, make you a body scrub, fam.
Make you?
Make you a brown sugar body scrub.
What?
Yes, I will make you some.
Do you have a recipe?
I have a recipe.
Perhaps you can drop it in the newsletter.
Perhaps I might.
I'm intrigued.
I just feel different when I know that my body is moisturized.
Okay.
You know?
Yes.
It's just like, listen, I might be behind on a bill. Probably got 7 things to do at work, but my collarbone is gonna pick up that light and just bounce it.
Yes.
You know?
Oh my God, I love that, Tracy.
Shea
that so
butter.
much.
Get you some shea butter. Get you some shea butter, like some raw shea butter. Mix it with a little bit of coconut oil so it's easy to spread. And as soon as you get out the shower, just slather. Just grease it up.
I learned all my like beauty and hair care stuff from you, so please inform the peoples and me in addition and as well.
Shea butter and brown sugar body scrub.
Ooh,
Do it.
you're welcome.
You're welcome, and you deserve it.
And thank you.
And bye.
Bye.